Good day, everyone. My name is Michelle D. Clark, and I'm your favorite small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown his grace and his mercy, and he has saved me from some life threatening things. Guess what? Today is a magnificent Monday on purpose. Why? Because I said so, and you can too. So, guess what? This is another episode of Great at Eight Mindset Matters. So, welcome to the show, and let's just get a few things in order here. We don't call them rules, we call them household, what do we call them again? Culture, right? So household culture. So of course, if this is your first time watching, then welcome to the show. And if you are a repeat supporter, then welcome back. So what we do is something with station identifications. We take a little break, right? And we talk about how we make sure that we take that break for station identification in order to get in our hydration. All right, woo, that was a mouthful, you all. All right, so um, start off with a little water. You know, hold on, I'm gonna give me a whole water. And the water I had left there was almost depleted, and I don't want to be depleted. So I want to make sure to have a whole bottle handy, right? Ooh, let me turn them this way because again, these folks, they're not paying me for endorsements. So, all right, you all. So if you have not gotten your water yet, and you are a first-time watcher, you probably don't know about that, then make sure to have your bottle of water handy. And in that way, when we do take a break for station identification in order for us to get hydration, then you have your bottle of water as well. In addition to that, you can take this time if you are a repeat supporter and you already know to have your bottle handy. Then you can take this time right now to go ahead and like this and share this with someone else so that way they can jump on too, right? Don't let this be the best kept secret. You want to tell somebody else about it, right? So if you knew something was good, wouldn't you want that person to tell you about it? So there you go. Sharing is caring in this instance. All right. So we're going to take a 2.5 second break for us to go ahead and get our hydration in. So, all right, on your mark, get set, go. Oh, that was great. Now, okay, real quick, y'all. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I actually drink my water room temp. So, fun fact to go along with that, if you guys want to hear, I'll let you know. Okay, so fun fact. Fun fact, when I was when I was pregnant with both my kids, I was on bed rest. I know, right? I was on bed rest with my son from 3 months gestational period. And with my daughter, I was about 7 months pregnant and I had to go on bed rest. So with my daughter, I was on bed rest and my husband at the time, he would put food and snacks and cooler on the side, and he would put some beverages in there, whatever, mostly water, right? Because that's what I was trying to stay hydrated because it was summertime. And so, but by the time like he left out, went to work, did he did, and I was left there, and I was like, okay, well now my water isn't cold anymore. So I ended up having to drink it room temp. Look, wait. Okay, you guys. I just caught myself like looking to the side. I know y'all probably like, well, who's she looking at? No, I'm looking down as if I'm in the back in the bed on bed rest and looking over to the side, like the water is sitting right there. The water is, I promise you guys, the water is not there. But I'm looking there like it does. Okay, so another detour real quick. No, we're not gonna detour anymore. We're gonna say that for another time. Okay, we'll say that for another time. All right, because we're on just for only 20 minutes, right? Only have 20 minutes. This isn't Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get a whole 30 minutes. Did you guys notice how I dropped that plug real quick? Right. About what? Oh, yeah, about our Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can also tune in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, just like you are right now. All right, so that's how I got a chance to live, if you will, room temperature water, which is actually better for you, better for us. All right. All right. So now since we've gotten our hydration out of the way, and now that we have our household culture down pat, I used to say that also elevator music. So if I'm taking a sip and you don't have your water, you don't want to get water, then just imagine you're hearing some elevator music in your mind. And when I'm done drinking, done, over, right? Right, cool beans. So yesterday, I would love to know what your thoughts were about yesterday's show. Now, if you did not get a chance to watch yesterday's show, I would strongly recommend you to hashtag replay is for real. So please do yourself a favor and go watch it. Not right now. Don't stop watching this right now. When this is done, then you go ahead and watch it. And this is the thing I love about the 20-minute segments that we literally can just, like, if you're getting ready in the morning, just play it real quick, or if you're in the midst of doing something, your drive time university. Y'all know what drive time university is, right? You're driving your car and you're listening to something you're learning, right? So drive time university, quick 20 minutes usually gets you right to where you need to go. And then by the time you're there, bada boom, bada bing, it's done. So I love these 20-minute segments. All right. But I'll let you guys know this is for a limited time only, right? This is not going to be ongoing. So it's a limited time only. So I know we first started with just 5 days. We're just going to do 5 days, start last Monday. So we extended it, but it is going to be a limited time. So make sure that you have your beautiful faces in the places, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. So that way you can be a part of our Great at 8. So now just a quick recap, and then we'll take our way all the way back up to yesterday, Sunday. So all the way last Monday, we started talking about how we map our cognitions. So how the mind works. We talked about how based on whatever the event is, we have thoughts, right? We have thoughts. Those thoughts are called self-talk. Based on our self-talk about the event, whether it's positive or negative, meaning positive or negative about the event, then it authors and sponsors our feelings, emotions, right? And then based on that, we have actions, behaviors, results, outcomes, things like that, right? So then we talked about how generally, if we have a negative thought about a event, we will probably have a corresponding negative feelings, which then would produce a negative outcome, behaviors, right? Reactions, response. So how do we circumvent that? How do we get around that? Yes, we talked about that too. Listen, if you guys were not in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I don't know what you were doing. So make sure that you hashtag replay those two. But anyway, if you want to get the long of the long, right? Or the longer of the short, because it's the short of the short, and it's only 20 minutes each. Okay. So we went through that too. Then we talked about how, guess what? You are not stuck in a rut. That if you have a negative thought, you're not automatically going to have a negative emotion and then a negative behavior, response, outcome, whatever. We have control over it. Now, we don't have control over our negative automatic thoughts, right? Because that's why they're called automatic. But we can control how long we sit in it. So if you're playing a radio, you don't like the song that's on, guess what? Change the station, right? And hope that the same song isn't on the next station. Ha, 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 right? So that is how, so we do thought replacement. We replace the negative automatic thought with something more positive, something that's going to help us to move forward, help us to feel better about whatever is going on around us. I gave multiple examples how to do that. So you don't have to go all the way to the extreme and think the opposite of what it is, because we also want to make sure that we realize that our minds are not going to buy it's not going to buy some alternative BS belief system, right? So when we have a certain belief system and we try to put a polar opposite belief system and shove it down its throat, it's going to be like, no, it's not going to take it in. Now, we didn't talk about that. So this is something a little bit new. We want to make sure that when we have the thought replacements, that those thoughts are not too far-fetched for our minds to believe, for it to incorporate into our own BS belief systems. So let me tell you guys a quick story. So I've heard that you have water, it's boiling. You put a frog in the boiling water, he's going to jump right out. Ribbit, gone. However, you start with lukewarm, room temperature water, put the frog over in it, slowly turn the temperature up. He will not jump out, and unfortunately, he will boil to death. I'm assuming that it may have something to do with him being cold-blooded, not warm-blooded. I don't know. But the bottom line is, he won't jump out, and he'll boil to death. So that's what we have to do with our minds. If we put something in that is stark contrast to what we already believe, our mind's like, I'm out of here. Holla back, deuces. But if we just slowly turn it up just a notch, then we can alter our mindset. We can alter our BS belief systems. Okay, real quickly, I gotta let you guys know that no frogs were actually hurt or harmed in this example. All right, so let's go back to that theory. Here's another example. I've heard that a rocket ship is off course at least 97% of the time. And I know you're like, okay, well then, Michelle, how on earth does it make it to its destination? It recalibrates. There's mechanisms where it recalibrates its direction. And then it is able to make those micro adjustments, micro shifts in order to make it to its destination, moon or otherwise. So I say all that to say this, that when we have a negative automatic thought, we want to replace it with something that's positive and still not be that far-fetched. So be maybe a few degrees off to help to shift us from our BS. Just a micro degree, micro inch, micro whatever. Just a micro adjustment. That's what we want to do. Now, I say this is what we want to do, but I mean, you don't have to do anything, right? Nobody has to do anything. These are all mindset hacks. I call it hacks because so far the hacks are winning, you guys. I put a request out there for people to send me. Let me know if you like mindset strategies, mindset moments, mindset hacks. Let me know what you want to call it, and then we'll move on from there. So far, the hacks are winning. Mindset hacks. I guess, nowadays or these days, everybody's talking about, hacks, household hacks. As a matter of fact, I was watching a show this morning. I had to go get my, I had to go to my acupuncture therapy, right? So I went to acupuncture therapy. And while I was there, when I was in the waiting room, they had on this stuff in the morning, and you know how they have all these fun shows that do different little things on there. And so one of the shows had a guy on there who was going through like home hacks. He was talking about different things that you can do to kind of like quickly hacks, you guys, are just something that you can quickly do that you don't have to get all the necessary materials. Listen, back in the day, we used to call them mama rig, right? We used to call it mama rig and things. So it's kind of like mama rigging. So anyways, now they call them hacks. Okay, so let me know what you want to call it. So bottom line is, let's get back to the point. The point at hand is that we want to shift it just a little bit to get that micro adjustment, so that way it's palatable. That way it is digestible to our brains, and our brains won't jump out the water, right? So let's see if we can give an example. So I know we've used the example. We've used the example of, gaining weight and having that, that muffin top, that sometimes plagues some of us, especially those of us who are over a certain age. So when that happens, then you might say, oh, I can't fit these pants anymore. This is ridiculous. I can't believe how much weight I've gained. And why did they have to all go to the middle section? Why couldn't they go wherever they wanted to go? Now, I'm saying this out loud, and I'm saying it in a process, but I'm telling you, our thoughts are happening just like this, like this, like this, especially when we practice. We practice our thoughts. It's another mindset hack, you guys. I'm giving you guys another clue, another tip, another strategy, whatever. Give you guys another layering, that we practice something so often, we don't have to consciously think about it anymore. It then becomes another thing that's automatic. Now, it may or may not be a negative automatic thought. So let's think about this. Let me take a quick detour, you guys, if you allow. Let's take a quick detour. So in that detour, let's say that, okay, how many people know how to drive? If you know how to drive, put a 2 in the chat. And if you've driven over 15 years, put a 3 in the chat. So, okay, great. So for those of us who have driven, and have definitely driven over 15 years. So remember when we first started to drive, we first learned how to drive. You had the driver instructor sitting next to you, and you got in the car. They told you, okay, you got to put your seatbelt on, and then you have to adjust your side, the mirrors. Now it's like, the little buttons, whatever. And then you have to adjust the rear view mirror. Some cars have that automatically too. And then we have to adjust our seats, and then we have to, cover our foot over the brake, and then back in the day, you would turn the car and start it like that, right? And then sometimes, now, listen, I'm not this old where we shift the gear like this, but I did have one of those kind of cars back in the day. So now the gear shifts down here, but now it's like a push. But anyways, bottom line is we have to consciously think about it. Like, okay, so then when you're practicing, when you first start learning to drive, you say, okay, I'm in the car, put my seatbelt, check just see, and then go. Now, for those of us seasoned drivers, we get in the car. How many of you all, when you get in the car, that you consciously think about going through all of those things? Most times, no. For the most part, I'm saying when you've driven so long, you've practiced, because that's what it is. When you've practiced so long, so many years, so many times, so many days, so many hours. It's like second nature. You get in, you do all those things, you're not even thinking about it. And as a matter of fact, when you get to the light, there's certain rules and things we're supposed to do. You're supposed to slow down a certain amount of feet before you get to the light. Before you make a turn, you're supposed to put this turn signal on. Da, 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 da. There's so many things we're supposed to do. But I'm going to tell you what, when you've done it so often, you've practiced so often, I'm telling you, yelling at the kids, you're calling somebody on the phone, whether it be your phone or through your system, and dial such and such, whatever. We might be eating a sandwich or putting on makeup. It's like all kinds of shenanigans, and unfortunately, even texting, all kinds of shenanigans that we now can do, if you will, or sometimes engage in. I just say shenanigans. I just like the word shenanigans, but we engage in those things now because we don't have to consciously think about anymore that when we are going into a turn that we're supposed to brake and then accelerate out of the turn. We don't think about that. We don't think about when we're about to make a turn that you just put the little clicker on and then turn. We don't think about that. It's like we do it. Okay. Full transparency, you guys. There was a time where, when I was driving, I got near home, and I promise you, the last 3 blocks before pulling into my driveway, I did not even remember. I did not even remember those 3 blocks. I consciously did not remember the last 3 blocks. And that's because those last 3 blocks I've driven so many times. So many times. I've lived where I stay now for, what is this? This 2023? Was it? Is that 15 years? Holy guacamole. Yes, 15 years. I've been here 15 years. So, automatic. Didn't have to think about it. And I didn't think about it until I was pulling a drive, and I was like, hope I didn't miss a red light. This is real talk, y'all. Because practice so much. Now, there's good and bad news about practice so much. The good news is, if we did not practice, if when we practiced, if our brains didn't do, remember we talked about the schemas, we talked about the shortcut system, the filing cabinet system, that everything goes in and we have to experience everything first, the new time, first, like it's the new time, every time we experience something new, that our brains try to find something that's like that so we can attach it to it and be like, I know how to react in this situation, right? Because think about it. Think about the snake. Remember all the way back on, was that Monday, all the way back last Monday, we talked about how the snake, if we saw that snake, and then because of our reaction, because our thoughts about the snake and if every time we saw a new snake, we had to go back through and experience it for the first time all the way new again, we would probably have a much smaller population, right? Because we'd have to experience it all over again. So we practice over and over and over and over again. So that's the good news, is that there's that shortcut. We don't experience it new, that we practice something and then it becomes permanent. Practice makes permanent. Not perfect, practice makes permanent. Now, the bad news is that practice makes permanent. The pendulum, yes, I know, yes, the pendulum swings both ways. So, that's why it's so important. Let's go back to our micro changes. We make those micro shifts. It's important to do the micro shifts so that way we can now start to retrain our brain. Yes, we can start to retrain our brain by making those micro adjustments. That's shifting us slowly to a new thought, new idea, new schema, new filing system, new construct, new belief system. All right, y'all. I am looking here and we are at the 19-minute mark. So I am going to go ahead and close this out. And thank you all so much, so much for tuning in, investing your time and your energy, right, into Graded 8 Mindset Matters. So, all right, you all. Now, for the professional ladies only, sorry, no men allowed. This Saturday, this Saturday, we are having Lift Nation's Freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Zoom room. This is for professional women who desire freedom and want to live it more abundantly, no matter what level you're at. Professional women, because we have so many things that we're going through, so many things that we do, so many things that's on our plate. And yet we still deserve freedom in the middle of it. And at the end of it, right? We deserve freedom. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that, how to get that freedom. So we're going to have a mini mindset training. Then we're going to talk about how Lift Nation is going to go to work for you, the professional woman. Then we're going to have a networking opportunity where we'll get a chance to break bread with each other, because I always believe that you're either networking or not working, right? So we'll have all that. So that'll be this Saturday, February 4th. Yes, we're already going to be into February, you guys. So February 4th, that is going to be our Lift Nation Freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How can you be a part of that? So glad you asked me that. All you have to do is go to bit.ly/Lift Nation Freedom at 1. So again, that's bit.ly/Lift Nation Freedom at 1. And then have your beautiful faces in the places. Yes, please have cams on, so that way I'm not just talking to some black screens with some names on it, or maybe your branding photos looking like right through the whole time. Although I wouldn't mind that, but I prefer to see you and have that interaction, because again, this is interactive. It's not just like a monologue, right? So all right, you all. So that is our Lift Nation Freedom at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday, February 4th. And in addition to that, tomorrow we will have our Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and click the little bell, so that way you can always be in the know when we drop new content. All right, y'all. I think I have updated you guys on everything. So, all right. And of course, if you have any questions for our rapid fire AMA segment tomorrow for Tuesday Talks, Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have a segment where you get a chance to ask Ms. Clark anything. So rapid fire AMA, you can send it to info@MicheleDClark.com. info@MicheleDClark.com. One L of Michelle, because you don't need two, and one does the same. So, all right, you can send your questions there. And all right. So, hope you enjoyed today's volume of Great at 8, where Mindset Matters. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you all tomorrow for our Tuesday Talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the rest of the week, we will be resuming our Great at 8. So all of them are 8 o'clock. All you have to do is just show up. You don't have to remember what it is. Just show up, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, I love you all to life. My name is MicheleDClark, and I am the Mindset Management Coach for professional women with Lift Nation, where we empower you, the professional woman, to live inspired, free, and transform. Take care. God.